But also when you start talking about encouraging the use of these analytics, I think, again, Cheryl and I spend a lot of our time day in, day out working with firms of understanding where does it fit in. And specifically when we talk about that data element, but then also to the workflow, that's usually where the breakdown happens, right? Of saying, well, gosh, we've got these tools, these techniques that we're utilizing, but it feels a little clunky because it's potentially outside of the platform or how we document or perform our engagement. And guess what? We all know in the heat of battle or during an audit engagement, it's really easy to say, well, gosh, we didn't do this last year and we still finished the audit and issued an opinion. So let's just forget it and we'll think about it next year, right? Because again, there's always seeming to be a hotter fire to deal with. But I think what people don't see and what they're falling short on is really stitching this together to become truly an audit methodology. And like you see here on screen, when I say that, I mean, it's not just about getting that data earlier in the process and, potentially scanning and looking for things. That's definitely a piece of it, but really sitting down and from a behavioral standpoint, which is why I get excited about that response to the polling, is really taking that mindset and really running with it and making sure that everyone kind of top down from a culture standpoint is embracing it. But we need to be really clear and make it easy for all users, right? Because if you're going to adopt technology and kind of have that transformation, everyone is a little uneasy about that, right? And everyone's starting over, so to speak, or kind of starting with a new clean slate. And so really making sure that this is weaved into the workflow, specifically methodology, means that really having a well-designed digital platform will foster that level of adoption. It will also make sure that we're including, that progressive technology such as data analytics, artificial intelligence, automation, those types of things directly into the engagement. So making sure that the right technology is being utilized at the right time, at the right point in the engagement. And so by having this all weaved together, there's no doubt, or you're not going to have kind of this mixed adoption of, certain champions or power users are running ahead. It kind of level sets the playing field for everybody. I think this is what, again, I get personally excited about. Of this didn't exist even barely 5 years ago, for sure 10 years ago, of making sure that all of these things play together, meaning you're getting the data at the beginning, but how are you using it? Well, you're using it to identify risks for certain areas, but then how are you using that throughout the engagement, making sure that areas or sections or milestones of the engagement aren't siloed, making sure that when you do one thing, potentially in planning or say or identify or answer a certain way, that's not falling through the cracks and that you're reminded downstream, right? Or having safeguards and logic checks in place to make sure that this is all hanging together, not as a safety net, but just to make sure that we're being consistent and really driving efficiency and effectiveness at the same time.